Do you have a business? Do you want to make a business? Are you interested in saving every last penny in that business? This is the video for you then. Hope you guys had a great week. I'm just coming back from my week off. It was great, relaxing, and now we're back to business. Today we're going to talk about information that's good to know and little tricks you can use to save money in your business. While some of this does apply to personal finance as well, this can definitely help you in a business you want to start up or in a business you have. And saving every little penny that you can, every dollar, does go a long way in the end. Today's discussion points are right here on the whiteboard. We're going to talk about discounts and what this means. We're going to talk about simple break-even analysis, what that means. And we're going to talk about cashback and how you can use that in your business. When we're all done, we're going to put it all together with an example. Before we get started with the discussion, I want to thank all of my viewers for supporting me thus far.
Do booster posts, and some companies will do that.
Over basic concepts
for all of you that know things about accounting.
From the kiddie pool all the way to the big boy pool here, you know, where your feet aren't really touching the bottom anymore. We're going to get a little more complicated as the videos go. We started off basic, now we're going to go to the next step, and we're going to start putting concepts new and old together. And I really want to thank everyone for sticking with me so far, and just continue to do what you do. You know, like those videos, subscribe, and leave a comment. And don't forget to share them with anyone interested as well, anyone that likes Yu-Gi-Oh! Games, anyone that wants to start a business, anyone that wants to fine-tune their business. This is the video and the channel for all of you. Alright, let's start with number one, discounts. What does this actually mean? So, whenever you buy something from a distributor, some distributors offer you a bit of a discount or incentive to pay the balance early. This 210 means that if you pay a balance on an invoice within 10 days, you get 2% off of that balance. The N30 means you don't get anything if you pay within 30 days, but then this 2% after means that for every 30 days you're late, you get another 2% of interest added. We don't even want to go there. We don't go there. We actively do our best to avoid that. We kind of want to stick in here for the purposes of this video and life in general, right? This isn't necessarily the only format or formula for distributor discounts that exists. Some distributors might not offer this. Some distributors might offer a volume discount, where if you purchase X amount of a certain item, you'll get a discount by buying so much volume. You know, that can range anywhere from 2%, 3%, whatever it is. So there are different discounts that distributors can offer. Some might offer none, some might offer both. For the sake of discussion though, we'll just assume that we have a distributor that does give us 2% off if we pay within 10 days. That's the goal we're going to head to. Now let's talk about break-even analysis. The numbers that we're going to use here, we're going to assume that our expenses like overhead, gas, things like that, our monthly expenses are $600 a month. We're going to assume that whatever we sell in our business, we pay $70 for it, and we sell for $100. For the sake of familiarity, let's assume that we're a business that only sells booster boxes for Yu-Gi-Oh! Let's just say that we sell nothing else at all, which obviously isn't really common. Usually there'll be other things, but for simplicity, we'll just stick to one item. So yeah, let's pretend that we just sell booster boxes, and we have $600 in expenses a month. So knowing this information, we can actually fill out profit and we can fill out break even. We know our profit is 100 minus 70, so that's $30. We'll go here and write a nice 30. How do we calculate break even from this point? You know what your expenses are. You know you make $30 a box. It's just $600 divided by $30 at this point. So you need to sell 20 booster boxes a month. Darn, I really need a new whiteboard marker. This one's kind of dying. Better go buy a new whiteboard marker. So to summarize what this all means in a nice little bow, we have to sell 20 boxes at a profit of $30 a box to cover our expenses. So to not completely go red, we have to sell 20 booster boxes. And then anything else after that is just net profit for our business for that month. The final tip before we put it all together is something called cashback. I've been using cashback credit cards for about 6 years maybe. Essentially what it is if you spend X amount of money on certain things at the end of the year or whatever period that the cashback assigns itself to, you get a percentage of that money back just for spending that money on it in the first place. To put an example on this, I have a cashback credit card where at the end of the year I'll get 2% on anything that I spend on gasoline or food. So if I spend $6,000 a year on gas and food for myself, I get 2% of that back at the end of the year, and that's $120, 2% of $6,000. While it doesn't seem like a lot, it kind of really isn't a lot. We're talking about saving every last penny and every last dollar. So every little bit is going to help. We've defined these 3 terms, we're going to put it all together with an example, and it's all going to make sense. So I've made the trip to Whitby, Ontario today. I'm currently just refreshing myself on some Tim Hortons. I'm gonna drive through recording this. Reason I came to Whitby, besides other business I have, is to actually pick up a small binder of cards. Now, the specific binder of cards didn't really have anything that I thought was super interesting, nothing that immediately grabbed my attention, but what I did notice is it had all the cards to complete someone's water mermail deck in the community in Belleville, because nobody else had the cards. So I'm really making this purchase just out of good faith. This way the guy gets the cards he needs. He's going to buy other cards off me too, so it saturates everything better. It's one of those things to show, I am willing to go out of my way to help the community, help people get what they need to clear their deck whenever I have the power to do so. This small binder of cards that I'm getting, eventually maybe I'll sell it. Maybe. There's nothing interesting. But only time will tell. Maybe when we're open. So this card player will thank me very much when this is all said and done. I've done my good deed for the week. And I helped someone else who was struggling with money a little bit because of the current situation in the world. So you know what? It's all good. Fun fact, my whiteboard marker completely died, so we're not going to use that anymore. Instead of writing things on the whiteboard, I'm going to go ahead and leave captions here in the video somewhere where you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. I'll also post it on my business blog, which you can find in the description below. That way you can follow along and everything will make sense and you're not getting confused with random numbers thrown all over the place. Let's assume that, again, we're going to buy booster boxes. We're going to buy 4 cases of Yu-Gi-Oh! At $70 a box. So 70 times 48 is 3,360. Now that we have our invoice, what we're going to do is we're going to pay the balance. We're going to assume that we get 2% off if we pay it in the first 10 days. We're going to go ahead and pay it in the first 10 days. So essentially what that means is we're going to pay 98% of $3,360. That total amount that you're paying ends up being $3,292.80. That's the amount of money you're going to pay the distributor for actually paying full within 10 days. We're going to assume that we paid this balance with a 2% cashback credit card. We'll of course we'll pay the cash on the credit card so there's no invoice. We'll do that immediately after. But 2% cashback credit card on this $3,292.80. If we break it down by transaction and we'll say we do this every month, the cashback we'll get back for this interaction is $65.86. Keep that number fresh because we're going to come back to it in a moment. Now for our second assumption, just so we have the number fresh in our head, the amount of savings we have from paying that transaction off is $67.20. Rounded off, the amount of money you're saving is $133.06. Not bad, right? Doesn't seem like a lot, but it gets juicier if you think about it in a different light. If you take that number and you multiply it by 12 months, assuming we do this exact same transaction every month for a year, that number ends up being $1,596.72. So in conclusion, by taking advantage of any distributor discounts and the cash back, $1,600 a year rounded is what you save in this example. It's a nice day to go for a run. It's cool, it's warm, it's windy, it's all nice. Don't forget to get your exercise. Even in these times of like quarantine and prohibition, it's still very important to get out there and do something healthy. $1,600 is a fair chunk of change. You know, what can you do with $1,600? You can put that back in the business, have it as a buffer. You can get a fancy meal for yourself. You can maybe take a nice week or two vacation. Ideally, for the longevity of the business, you'll want to put that back in the business or keep it floating in the business in case you need it for anything. But, you know, $1,600 isn't bad. And this is just assuming this was the only transaction we did every month and we didn't buy anything else, we didn't do anything else. That number can only go up. That number can just grow. With the amount of saving possible, I mean, the sky's the limit. As high as you can go with your strategies and the amount that you purchase, the amount of money you can actually save in the end. If you aren't able to take advantage of these kind of examples, these kind of discounts and methods to save money, if that's just not an option, that's $1,600 that you don't get, or whatever that amount ends up being in your circumstance. Personally, I like to save every little dollar I can because it all adds up. It really does. Everything you do costs money. You have to spend money so often in life. Why not get some of it back? Why not save what you can? That way, it just makes you a little bit happier. You know, $1,600 makes me $1,600 happier. I'd rather have that money and put it towards something else than not have the option at all because I didn't do anything to try to get that money back. Well, nothing particularly eventful happened this week regarding singles. A few people did send me a list of cards they're looking for, so I'm going to go ahead and look for those cards, and hopefully we get some sales in the next week or two because of those lists. Well, I think that does it for this week's episode. This week wasn't really too eventful. I think I maybe made one sale, maybe two, and we didn't have a tournament. So, kind of dead. You can definitely tell that the global situation is having its toll. This week is just another example of that. It's no big deal though. I really did enjoy making this week's content. I like talking about money and math. These are just my favorite things because they just go such a long way without you even realizing it. Hopefully you guys took something out of this week when it comes to like saving money. You know, every little dollar you can save in a business does really help you. You can reallocate that money towards something better, something else, and it's just good to have the money. It's better to have money than to not have money. So I really take advantage of every trick possible, and I hope you guys do the same. That'll do it. I hope you guys have a great week. Stay safe and stay healthy, and we'll see you next time.